good morning to you, Grenada, Carrier, Crew, pretty much like the rest of the Eastern Caribbean, the rest of the world. Welcome to this segment of Good Morning Grenada. And of course, you know how we start it, right? We usually start it with the word of the day. And the word for today is fustigate. All right, fustigate. F-U-S-T-I-G-A-T-E. Fustigate means to criticize severely. All right, it's older, less common meaning is to beat with or as if with a short, heavy club. All right, so that's what fustigate means. All right, it can be used in a sentence the following way: the Singers Awards show performance was fustigated by several prominent media outlets. Can also be used that way. Although we're sitting atop the standings now, the team went through a rough patch of getting absolutely fustigated by their division rivals. Learn to spell it: F-U-S-T-I-G-A-T-E. It means to criticize severely. Nice. 22 minutes on to 7 o'clock. And the thought for the day: whatever the mind of a man can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Yeah, that's the thought for the day. Whatever the mind of a man can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Good. So how are we doing this morning? I had a peek on the outside, and it's looking down extreme south, Point Celine's area. It's very cloudy. I can presume that we're going to have some rain. However, we'll get to see and hear what the forecasters at the Met Office at the Morris Bishop International says today. That's with the news and sports and weather coming up shortly. Now, some of the stories we'll be looking at in the buzz this morning, and we will be having guests this morning. We'll have an event coming up on Sunday, and we'll have the organizers with us this morning for a brief period of time. And after that, we'll see how many of these stories we can engage as it relates to what's making the buzz this morning. Now, it says, with the passing of Evan Smith on Sunday, what are the next steps to be pursued in his matter before the court? We have his attorney, Derek Sylvester, doing a briefing there. Also, the government of Grenada's town hall meeting at the Trade Center Annex erupted on Monday evening as Prime Minister Deacon Mitchell made some damning statements surrounding Faith Organization for People's Development, Incorporated. Oh boy, that is huge. Where is this gonna go from here? Understand that town hall meeting was, wow, it was up the hooks, man. Also, financial literacy within schools has been a clarion call from many sectors, including young people, to truly be equipped to handle the socio-economic challenges in Grenada. The merger of education, youth development, and empowerment is the focus. Hope we can get around to, looking at these stories this morning. Also making the buzz, the former permanent secretary in the Ministry of Finance, who is now the governor of the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, that's Timothy Antoine. Well, he's urging former government workers who will soon collect their retroactive pension to plan prudently for their hard-earned money, how to invest it, right? Yeah. So these are some of the stories we will be looking at after we have that chit-chat with, I'm going to tell you the names momentarily. Yeah, but we're going to have the chat with them this morning. So remember the word for today, it's fustigate, and it means to criticize severely. Now, its older, a less common meaning was to beat with or as if with a short, heavy club. Nice. Also, the thought for the day this morning, we heard that whatever the mind of a man conceive or believe, it can achieve that. There's another one that I like a lot. We rise by lifting others. You know, it is often said that we black people, and mostly Grenadians too, we have what we call the crabism culture. Yeah, that we cannot stand, we cannot look at someone else climbing up. We always believe that we can pull them down. Well, yeah, another thought for the day. We rise by lifting others up. That's so true. All right, so folks, what we do now, we break off from this segment as we make preparation for the GBN Classic Radio News that comes up in just 2 minutes' time, and news, sports, and the weather. But before I go, I just want to remind you to be a part of the mid-morning segment that starts on the 11th of November and runs through the 23rd of December. Jingle and Mingle. It runs from 10 a.m. to 12 noon, Monday to Friday. GBN, of course, as always, teams up with its partners as we do it for the season. So, folks, this is where we take the break from here. We'll be back on the flip side of 7.
With your new GUT Credit Union Visa debit card, which gives you access to your cash at any Connex or Visa certified ATMs locally and internationally. Make your payments with a tap of your card using the contactless feature and have the freedom to make purchases locally, online, or overseas whenever you travel anywhere Visa is accepted. Experience the enhanced security fraud protection through the Visa chip technology. If you don't have your new GUT Credit Union Visa International debit card, speak to any one of our representatives today to do more. Your new GUT Credit Union Visa International debit card. A smarter way to access your cash. More smart, more secure.
From Television Center at the Grenada Broadcasting Network, I'm Kenroy Batiste. With the passing of Evan Smith on Sunday, what are the next steps to be pursued in his matter before the court? Beverly Telesford follows through with this report.
Evan Smith died and the criminal matter has seemingly died with him. That's the sentiment of attorney-at-law Derek Sylvester, representing the Smith family in the civil matter of the case involving the alleged physical attack on Smith in June 2020 by Sarah Horton and Donald Kavanagh. Sylvester says while the criminal matter is out of his hands, he believes it is extremely difficult to continue the matter following Evan Smith's death.
In relation to the criminal matter, of course, the prosecution department will handle that because I do not have a fiat in relation to the criminal matter, so I'm not directly involved. But just by way of explanation, the mere fact that he has died, that would ultimately be the end of the criminal matter because it would be extremely difficult to proceed with a matter wherein he cannot give evidence and there must be cross-examination because the burden in these matters are beyond a reasonable doubt. So, unfortunately, that will be the end of the criminal matter. That is my humble view, unless the prosecution decide to find some other trick in the hat, and I don't believe there is, because there will be some constitutional challenge in relation to fair trial pursuant to Section 8 of the Constitution.
Smith had 2 pending cases before the court, one a criminal matter and the other a civil case. Regarding the civil matter, after meeting with the wife of Evan Smith, Nicole Smith, on Tuesday, a decision was made to continue the matter with the wife as the substitute claimant.
In relation to the civil matter, that matter could be proceeded with. We would have to substitute the wife of Mr. Smith in his stead pursuant to certain legal principles and certain application that has to be made before the court. So the civil matter would be proceeding with. Because the claim is already before the court for assault and battery and civil compensation, the matter is going to proceed in the same vein, save and except that now the claimant now would be different. So it is a principle in law called substitution of the parties. So we'd be substituting the wife in the place of Evan Smith.
In order order for Evan Smith's statement to be brought before the civil court, an application must be filed to have it deemed as that of a deceased witness.
We should apply to the court for an application to dispense with his cross-examination and to tender his evidence without cross-examination. That application was filed on the 24th of October, 2022. Unfortunately, 6 days after he passed. So another application would have to be made to deem his evidence as that of a dead witness in the civil proceedings.
Evan Smith's funeral will be on Monday, the same day the civil matter is scheduled to be heard, with Nicole Smith as a substitute. For GBN News, Beverly Telesford.
Charges are yet to be laid on the accused in Monday's homicide in Beaton St. David. Christina John has the latest update.
Godfrey Simeon is presently hospitalized and is likely to be charged on his release for the gruesome murder of Sharon Andrea Williams. Andrea was killed outside her home on Monday morning following an altercation between herself and Simeon, who allegedly beat her with a piece of wood before inflicting chop wounds to her body. Simeon subsequently fled the scene, but was later discovered by police bleeding from injuries to his arm sustained during the incident. Another individual who attempted to rescue the victim also sustained injuries and a dislocated shoulder. According to reports, that individual received medical care and was released from hospital earlier today. Police await the results of a postmortem to determine the actual cause of death of Andrea Williams. However, initial observation of the body revealed significant blunt force trauma to her head. Police investigations are continuing. Christina John, GBN News.
This story to report the government of Grenada's town hall meeting at the Grenada Trade Center Annex erupted on Monday evening as Prime Minister Deacon Mitchell made some damning statements surrounding Faith Organization for People's Development, Inc. The shocking claims also involve a questionable application process linked to a prospective ambassador at large to Grenada. Gerard Joseph has this report.
Opposition Senator Nolan Cox, while appearing on GBN's To The Point program on Tuesday, is refuting any links to the purported payment of funds to the new National Party's South St. George office.
No, but I'm saying that they have not implicated my campaign in any way or myself. I think they said it's an account in the name of the South St. George constituency office. So that is something that's a separate matter. Our campaign is not have any knowledge of such account or have any dealings with such account. So
this issue is one of three major allegations made by Prime Minister Deacon Mitchell, who hinted to mismanagement of funds by the former NNP administration. During the government of Grenada's town hall meeting on Monday evening, the Prime Minister stated that a gentleman of Polish origin apparently applied to be made an ambassador at large to Grenada.
That gentleman was told, and it appears that the then cabinet, agreed to appoint the gentleman as ambassador at large. He was told that in order to do so, he needed to pay US $290,000 to the state of Grenada. $150,000 was paid to the state of Grenada, and there's a treasury receipt for it. Another $140,000 was paid to the new National Party South St. George office.
Prime Minister Mitchell noted that just before the election in June 2022, $140,000 was paid to the new National Party's South St. George office.
We have the records. So since the cabinet conclusion said it was $290,000 to the state of Grenada, last time I checked, the Constitution does not establish the new National Party South St. George office as part of the state of Grenada. So my free advice now is that the new National Party South St. George office, or the new National Party for that matter, should kindly hand over to the state of Grenada the $140,000 that magically found its way into your bank account.
However, Senator Cox, who was the NNP candidate for St. George South, insists that he as well as his staff are not aware of such a transaction, citing that funding for his campaign was totally local.
I said just last night I heard this, and I just quickly called a few persons and said they didn't receive any such donation from overseas in such an amount, and nobody. That is the situation at hand.
The Prime Minister told the gathering at the town hall meeting that the gentleman has requested for the return of his money.
The state of Grenada has no intention of paying back any money to anybody.
I am Gerard Joseph for GBN News.
Meanwhile, Prime Minister Deacon Mitchell reiterated that this case reflects trading in diplomacy or trading diplomatic passports.
This administration has put a stop to this. We will not do it. And it is wrong. It is as simple as that. And for a government, days before an election, to be suggesting to people that they could be made diplomats in the middle of an election campaign is ridiculous.
Yep.
And that is the kind of challenges that we've had to treat with.
The Prime Minister noted that the NDC administration is now facing an uphill task, even with the recall of diplomats.
Because the past administration have appointed people, quote unquote, as diplomats who do not feel that they are accountable to the state of Grenada. They don't want to speak to the Minister of Foreign Affairs. They don't want to speak to the PS in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And if you give them a chance, they're even speaking to me as the Prime Minister. So the reality is, we will not accept that. We have no intention of appointing persons who do not wish to comply with our diplomatic principles, with our rules and regulations, and who do not wish to account to the people of Grenada.
Rebecca Television Centre British Airways has added a new flight to Grenada as Tourism Awareness Month begins. We get more in this Beverly Telesford report.
The Grenada Tourism Authority announced that British Airways has added additional capacity to the tri-island state of Grenada, Carriacou and Petit Martinique with a weekly Sunday service from London Gatwick via Antigua. To celebrate the additional flight, GTA hosted a small arrival ceremony at the VIP Government Lounge at the Morris Bishop International Airport with local stakeholders and the media. The additional flight provides welcome capacity to ensure those wanting to experience Grenada, Carriacou and Petit Martinique will have ample opportunity to do so. This announcement was timely as Tourism Awareness Month begins today, November 1st. Tourism Minister Lennox Andrews spoke of the plans for the month.
The activities planned are a continuation of actions taken on 27 September 2022 for our World Tourism Day observance, in which various stakeholders and the general public were allowed to highlight the what's next for tourism in our tri-island state. These conversations and engagements need to continue as we seek to further strengthen partnership with the private sector to ensure the sustainable development of the industry.
Minister Andrews expounded on the theme for this year, Together We All Can Transform Tourism, Let's Do Our Part, and added that the aim is to partner with the private sector to successfully capitalize on the tourism industry.
The month of activities will be spearheaded by the Ministry of Tourism and the Grenada Tourism Authority. The theme is Together We All Can Transform Tourism. Let's do our part. With this theme, we encourage every Grenadian to be mindful of our individual and collective responsibility in the enhancement and development of a sustainable tourism industry.
British Airways currently also operates flights to Grenada on Wednesdays and Saturdays via St. Lucia. Virgin Atlantic is also operating flights to Grenada from London, with 2 weekly flights via Barbados on Tuesdays and Saturdays through to October 29, 2022, and then Tuesdays on Fridays from November 1st, 2022. For GBN News, Beverly Telesford.
Now, Education Minister David Andrew is pressing for both parents' involvement in the holistic development of their child or children. Christina John has the story.
The question is, are we as a society doing enough to create that favorable environment where our children's progress to maturity is healthy and vigorous to the point where they show a feeling of pleasure and satisfaction? The late great Nelson Mandela, former president of South Africa, asserts, there can be no keener revelation of a society's soul than the way in which it treats its children.
Was Minister for Education David Andrew. As Child Month 2022 concluded, the minister stressed on the importance of parental involvement in their children's lives.
For children to grow, glow, and flourish, there is need for structure facilitated by the creation of rules, regulations, guidelines, and expectations. We encourage all parents, guardians, and caregivers to ensure that those are features in the fabric of our children's lives. For children to grow, glow, and flourish, there is need for security, facilitated by a warm, stable family setting. Children need to have the security of having parents who are there and show they care. A strong, stable family will remain the best protective factor a child can have.
Reflecting on the Child Month theme, children's care and education matter, let children grow, glow, and flourish, Minister Andrew underscored the need for positive discipline, which reflects strengths and desired behaviors. He quoted statistics which reflected the number of sexual crimes committed against children for 2022.
Our society will need to do some soul searching, as statistics from the Royal Grenada Police Force, the RGPF, indicate that of the 123 reported cases of sexual crime for January to September 2022, 81 or 67% were against persons under the age of 16 years. The youngest victim was a 2-year-old female who was indecently assaulted. And there were 5 male victims under the number quoted above.
Fathers' involvement too are critical, he noted.
On this note, I address us as fathers. We are immensely more important in our children's lives, their growth and development, than we seem to be aware. We determine their sex at conception, and our presence and involvement make life better for them. Studies indicate that the absence of fathers make children more vulnerable and susceptible to social ills. Frederick Douglass, abolitionist and statesman, says, "It is easier to build strong children than to repair broken men." Fathers, let us do our part.
The Education Minister expressed his gratitude to all stakeholders who contributed towards the sensitization of the process. Christina John, GBN News.
The death of Evan Smith before the 2 pending cases could be heard is what has been creating a buzz on social media.
We present the news. You analyze the various topics and distill the issues as they unfold. Your distillation points matter as we're about to highlight them in our Social Buzz report.
Evan Smith, the man at the center of an alleged physical attack by the couple in Fort Judy, St. David on June 2020 has died. Smith had 2 pending cases before the court, one a criminal matter and the other a civil case resulting from the alleged assault by Sarah Harton and Donald Kavanagh. Smith was accused of killing the couple's dog. The incident sparked outrage among citizens who took protest action seeking justice for Smith. 2 weeks ago, GBN reported that an application was filed for a waiver on the cross-examination of Evan Smith due to his failing health. Social media users took to the comment section to share their thoughts about the situation. The following views are that of members of the public, the Grenada Broadcasting Network. Janelle said, "This is so sad. How can we uphold the law when our justice system is failing us so badly?" Kathy added, "My deepest condolences to his family and friends. I hope the justice system works to honor his memory and bring peace to his family. These individuals need to be held accountable for their actions. In my opinion, they need jail time and punitive damages. There is absolutely no reason to brutally assault someone in such an inhumane way." Albert added, "This is very heartbreaking that his day in court and he received no justice. What is the status of his assailants after such a brutal attack? I followed up on the initial assault, found it very distasteful that a Caribbean citizen has become a stranger in his own land. This case should have been top priority and a case management system should have been instituted. He is dead now, nothing can be done. This person added, so sad to hear this. I hope he gets justice now. The law does not do us good as citizens in Grenada. We are second and third class in our own country, hence why most people take law into their own hands. Had it been another way, he would have been serving time in jail. God isn't sleeping. He will reward those who were wrong and those who didn't fight harder for justice accordingly and in his time. This person said, it is unacceptable that he received no justice in his lifetime. Truly deplorable. That's what's buzzing tonight. We encourage you, our viewers and listeners, to submit your think pieces on trending topics locally, regionally, and internationally via our Facebook page and YouTube channel. Continue to share your thoughts and concerns with us on our social media platforms.
How did you get your electricity bill to be so low? For one, we size our transformers just for what we need, and we unplug transformers, chargers, and other devices when they're not in use. We also replaced our light bulbs with LED. I even replaced the seal on my refrigerator door to keep the cold air in.
How do you know if it is working?
We pay attention to the usage history table. Over time, our average usage has decreased.
Grenlec, energizing our Grenada.
Citizens WeatherGuard Pro. For every project, there's only one Pro. WeatherGuard Pro. For every project, there's only one Pro.
I want you folks to play these 3 games from the NLA. Daily Pick 3 Cash Flow and Play With. You will be supporting sports and culture, nation building, and our future. So go out and play, folks, make it a must. You will see what the National Lottery is doing for us. When you play Pick 3 Cash Flow and Play With, the NLA will support you all the way.
Starting September 30th, Monday to Friday, these 3 games will be drawn mid-morning, 9:45 a.m., midday, 12:45 p.m., and evenings, 7:45 p.m. The National Lotteries, supporting sports, culture, and nation building.
Sunday money.
hurt me more. Not me alone getting on. It's when you see the ugly man, I say, no, now, to please nobody. Just lie. It's when she get catch with the one she say she cousin the position, yeah. Hot my head up, doggy can do this when I see text. I break she damn phone is when I see text. I to roll another wheel, no. And then she hit up, take her what she more. Me alone is when you see the I say I'm not stressing myself out no to please nobody. Don't I say nobody. And if you're stressing, don't stress like me. Pay attention. Everybody in your life is for a reason and a season. If you stay, that's your fault. You walk on with it. No, if you have to lose weight, was a man boy, it would have been me. Skinny bantan boy is now I feel the way how you feel, boy. Man in reply he say, mango seed. But it's when me neighbor asking my own if she want. Hey, keep her my hot and then she go sit up. Take her back, see. It's not me alone. Even the caterpillar feel it. It's when you see who, what? I say I'm not stressing myself out. Like the big van one take, like money, pants under the palm, Jordan and mouth full of gold. Now you breathe for, don't bring it to me. Bamchi, can't stop. Glenna, Dominic, Grandma, wow. Greatness only. One done, Don Jamel the bad up boss. Bad up.
It's Soca Parang Indie Basket, the Spice Basket. Saturday, 5th November, featuring from Trinidad, Grunta, Baron, Marcia Miranda.
Darling, look, it's Christmas, a special time of year.
From Grenada, Carriacou String Band, Lay, Hassan Leke, and Steve Theodore. I want the Parang. Get your early bird ticket for $60 after you pay $80 and more at the door. And are available at Chucky's Bar, Brendan on the Terminal, Grenada Optical in St. George's, Gittins Pharmacy Grenville, Gittins Healthcare Grandance, Shy's Bar St. Mark's, Nick and Bites Guav, St. David's Pharmacy, Calico Shopping Center, Main Street, Sotiers. Also purchase tickets online at gotofet.com. Soca Parang Indie Basket, Spice Basket, Saturday, 5th November, showtime, 8 p.m. Brought to you by National Lotteries Authority, WeFM, Force FM, Top FM, Magic FM, Bulk by Carib, Captain's Harris, GBN, MTV, Alamanda Hotel, 3 O's Auto Supplies, Grenada Distillers, and Grenada Tourism Authority. Soca Parang Indie Basket, Spice Basket, Saturday, 5th November, showtime, 8 p.m. It's another Chucky's promotion.
All right, folks, good morning, and welcome to all of viewers and listeners. Those of you just joining us, well, welcome on board. And those of you on our social media platforms, good morning to you as well. All right, this morning I'm joined, as I hinted to you, we've got guests in studio this morning. I'm joined by Mr. Paul Mendes and Mr. Matthias Williams. And they are here this morning as they promote a grand event, Sunday Happiness, and it's happening at the Prickly Bay?
Prickly Bay.
Yeah, good. All right, so gentlemen, good morning. Welcome.
Morning. And morning to the viewing audience.
Wow, you all should try singing, man. You all sung harmonious together. Yes, good. Give us a sort of insight into Sunday Happiness. What is this about?
All right. Sunday Happiness, it's one in a series of events. It's the first time we're doing this called Sunday Happiness, but it's one in a series of events. For quite a while now, I've been coordinating some events that focus on music and the performing arts by our people, for our people, developing our people. You know, that kind of sums up the heart of what we do. You know, music and performing arts by our people, for our people, developing our people. So Sunday Happiness is an event in that context. So we sold it to Prickly Bay. In collaboration with Prickly Bay, we have a couple of bands, Fahrenheit, and my band, which is called Project Music now. And we have over 10 local artists coming through.
Okay.
From violinists to saxophonists to pianists to a bunch of singers, you know, coming through. And so this community of musicians coming through and playing a variety of genres and providing happiness.
Oh, so that's where the Sunday Happiness. Okay, because when I saw the branding of it, I said Sunday Happiness. Okay, all right. Yeah, well, music is happiness. Music is. It doesn't matter what genre you're looking at, but music is a happy thing.
It's a major contribution to happiness. Yeah.
But if I'm not mistaken, this happens to be a second child or something, because you
So that's why I said it's in the vein of a series of events. I've been doing Rhythm to Spice since 2008, right? Okay. Every year until 2020 when we had that COVID kind of situation. So it's part of that body and community of events. You know, same objectives. You know.
Okay. Okay. All right. Mr. Matthias, I ain't hearing you talking.
Nah, well, I mean...
that one is men's.
Okay. All right. Good. Yeah.
I mean, he's a mastermind behind the whole thing.
Okay.
So I am, as he said, he's trying to promote local artists and stuff. So I am a steel pan player.
Okay.
Not many people know. I mean, some people know me, some people don't. You know, I've known Matthias for a while. So I mean, for some reason, he likes the way I play the steel pan, you know, so he decided to say, hey, you know, let's work together, come be a part of this, you know, and showcase yourself to Grenada.
Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. Matthias, in Grenada, people predominantly listen to calypso, soca to an extent, and a little reggae. But in recent years, we're seeing a number of local artists coming up with different genres of music. The Sonaika, the Hakeem, the Jefferson, and so forth. Do you think enough is being done to sort of find these kind of people and enhance the talent that they've got? Because I am certain that this event is geared towards, you know,
that variety of genres. But I don't think enough is being done. I think a lot more could be done with our music industry in general. So with the music industry in general, we could do a lot more. And the events like this is like our drop in the bucket, you know, hoping to help, you know, the situation, hoping to encourage growth in the music and the performing arts. So I think more can be done. But it's interesting, like you mentioned, that there have been a few in recent times who have been dabbling in other genres and trying to widen it. Paul, the first time I heard Paul, he was playing a classical piece on pan. I think it was a Flight of the Bumblebee. I was like, who's a brother? He's like, a classical piece, and not an easy classical piece. It's not an easy, I was like, and so, like when I heard it the first time, and I track it down, and and then when we have had jams, when we have stuff, tell him come in because he does some work on the cruise ship too, so he's not always here.
Okay.
So nice musician, man, and people should come down to hear people like Paul, because you hear the pan in a different way. A lot of people think pan is a noisy instrument, they're going to panorama, that kind of thing. They have this, pan is a wonderful instrument, and people like Paul can play classical pieces on the pan, and you hear it and you'd wonder. It could be gentle and it can be soft and romantic. They just think it's a banging thing. Even somebody pan just complain that the pan players play too hard. That kind of thing. So
I remember in my more youthful years, I was invited to MC a pan event in River Road. And, I sing after a band played. I was saying why these fellas could beat pan, yes. And my good friend Pele Dabo, he pulled me aside. He said they don't beat the pan, they play the pan. Because it is perceived that it's just a noisy instrument. Some folks are deterred from it because we're gonna watch somebody just beat up a pan. But then I've been to Trinidad and even Barbados, and I've heard classical music being played on pan, and that's when it really, this instrument can do a whole lot more.
Yeah, it's versatile.
Yeah, man. So they need to come. Like his approach, his musicality on the pan is really nice. It's beautiful.
Well, thanks for saying that.
Yeah.
Well, having said that, let me ask you, where did that come from? How did you all start it with pan? How did you start with pan?
Well, me, I started. That's an interesting story. I started playing pan in GBSS, right, with New Dimension. Because my mom too, she was always involved in pan when she was younger. She's a classical musician, so she does classical music for the steel pan and stuff.
Also, it's like you nursed that. You were breastfed music.
Yes, I was, for lack of a better saying, I was breastfed music. Yeah. So that's where that came from. And then my taste in music, my preference in music, I prefer a gentler touch on the steel pan than more of a, there's a time and place for everything, Panorama is a lovely thing, Some people say it's noise, but it's music, and it really gets inside you, But on the other hand, I also like to take it light, So just
different shades of grey. There's time for this and there's a time for that, So as it relates to your formal training, did you, do you have someone, a specialist or so, that you worked with? Because the way Matthias spoke of you, it seems like, you seem to be the local Len Boogsy sharp.
Wow. Well, I would never go that far. That is, I'm not worthy of that yet, But and I don't have a teacher. I just practiced a lot, A lot of the percussion techniques are valid for the steel pan, so that's what I kind of, I found that on YouTube and stuff, and I looked at videos and different ways to practice and do wrist exercises. And that's just a lot of practice. That's all it is.
Another quick question in terms of the general appreciation for pan. You worked on the cruise ship, right? Do you happen to play on pan on the cruise ship?
Yeah. That's
what sort of engagement you get when you start ringing out the notes?
People, I have to say, they love the steel pan. On the cruise ship, people, they really appreciate it because for a lot of them it's exotic. They've never seen it before.
Right.
And the people that do know it, they always say, that's my favorite instrument. I love the steel pan, because to them it brings across like good vibes and relaxation and all of this stuff. So it's really appreciated on the cruise ship and abroad and stuff.
Okay, well, that's good. I personally, I would like to see, not just steel pan, but our true intrinsic culture get into our school curriculum. I would love to see the the writing of calypsos and composing, well, not just writing of calypso, but composing calypsos and the steel pan being taught in schools. I know efforts were made to have them brought into churches in the past, so you might have a steel band orchestra from one of the churches and so forth. But I really would love to see that, because really and truly it's in us. We just have to find the ways to get it out.
To bring it out.
I'm not any big musician per se. I could pull 2 strings on the guitar, but when I am doing that, I have no stress. Music is a stress reliever. The ability to play. So I would really like to see. I am of the opinion that too much emphasis is placed on the so-called academia.
But we have to come back and have another discussion on that, because I'm into education too, so we have to come back and have a different discussion on that, because I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that. For example, I think a simple way we can start is with the recorder. The look at thing people call a flute there, because I grew up calling it like a flute too, like everybody here. The recorder is a legit instrument that you could find in an orchestra. There are different families of recorder.
I've seen big orchestras with a section of recorders.
Yeah. So it's a legit instrument, but it's reasonable. You get a recorder for $20. You get some music teachers to circulate to the different districts, teach the children the fundamentals of the recorder. You're learning music. If you're learning music, it's a simple way to go, because you might not be able to buy a steel pan. How much $1,000 for a steel pan?
$1,000.
It's expensive.
At least,
There's some schools. I know there are a few schools that allow their children. I know St. Mary's would do it. Allow the children to do like pan with maybe like pan wizards or something, so a select group of them may go down and do some music there. I don't know how many other schools do, but I know of that school that does it. So there's some schools that would do that. I think St. Joseph's Convent, St. George's used to go down to New Dimensions too and do some work with them. So some schools get a little introduction to the pan, but we can find ways to introduce them in music to the primary schools.
I remembered in not so long ago, David Peck Edwards. I don't know if he did it personally because of his love, or if it was a project from the ministry where he was attached, but I knew he visited schools and had training with students, because the things have changed. Gone are the days where you had to be a doctor, a lawyer, or a politician, or a police to be termed successful. The people in the music industry,
of course.
Look at the life.
No, but for a while now, it's just like Grenada hasn't caught on. For a while now, there have been successful musicians out there. The music industry has provided jobs for a lot of persons.
In the region.
Successful. Even in the region too. Even in the region.
Look at some folks might argue that, had Rihanna stayed in Barbados, she would not have made it that far. That is not necessarily the truth. Because I've been in Barbados, I've studied in Barbados for a while, and I knew, as a matter of fact, my ability to pull 2 strings on the guitar is because of a guy that I met on the street, and I brought him to live where I was living because he had his guitar on his back, and in conversing with him, he played 13 musical instruments, and he was going through all the schools in Barbados teaching music. So I would love to see that, but any case, as you say, that's a different conversation.
Yeah, and we need to have it at some point to kind of stimulate the people and encourage a certain movement. But it's a big conversation that we really need, and we need to move it from the point of conversation to actually start putting things in place. Because you have a lot of conversations.
But now is a good time, because our new administration is on this transformational agenda, so maybe that could be part of the transformation. Get the psyche out of people's head that you have to be this white collar person.
But listen, that psyche you're talking about there is inside, it's deep inside, because a lot of people would see music as just you're joking a thing, you're playing a thing, you're just trying a thing. There are parents who would have issues with their children saying, I want to go and study music. And you might term them educated. It's like, because as far as you're concerned, you're either teacher or police. If you cannot make lawyer and doctor,
that is second.
So you go teacher, police and nurse. If you cannot do the lawyer and the doctor and things, so there are a lot of things, a lot of professions that are not emphasized, including music. And then there are a whole set of other areas in music, like you talk about sound engineering, you talk about production. There's a whole set of areas that you can get into and make a good living from.
Many things.
That is a conversation that we will have, right? We will have that conversation at a later date. Let's get back to Sunday happiness. Who are some of the artists that you have performing and so forth?
Well, even as Paul was talking, and Paul is a really nice pianist, but I was about to say that, hey, there are a bunch of other very good pianists around too, you know. I like Keddy Hood comes to mind, Cardell Bayam, you know, there are a few, Andre, you know, and a few of the other guys too at Comancheros. We have some good musicians, but oftentimes you don't hear these people. We're hoping through activities like this we can start pulling out some people, because actually that's what I did. I have some people who are not on the roster, who I'm kind of calling surprise acts, who you probably never heard sing. I hope they come through. Okay. And never heard play.
But how come I did not get a call?
Yeah, well, you just realized hey, I tell you, I thought you wasn't here.
If you don't know my number, call me, I'll give you, okay? Right. So is Lyndon Langdon on that the saxophone?
No, the saxophone. But I tell you, there's a whole host of people.
That's my good friend.
And that's one of the reasons why we added a second event. Because just the Rhythms of Spice at the top of the year, that's usually in June. You can't really get around enough, you know, and it's just once a year. So one of the thinking behind this is that we need to have a second performing arts events where we can get the musicians to come out and play again. So there's Paul on the pan, there's Giovanni Antoine on violin, there's another instrumentalist, there's Javon Mitchell. You mentioned Lyndon, but you have another young set of people probably never heard. Have you ever heard Javon Mitchell? He's from Happy Hill.
No.
Nice saxophonist on alto sax, nice saxophonist. I mean, I've dealt with him, worked with him, really nice saxophone. So there's Javon Mitchell on sax, there's Giovanni on violin, there's Paul on pan. Then we have a host of singers. There's Sonaika McKee, there is Jonathan Francis, there's Fahrenheit and that whole band there. There's Shireen Brizan, there's Tira Etienne, and some names you probably haven't heard yet. Then we're hoping the surprise acts come through. So it's about over 10, artists coming through in that.
Are you seeing a sort of look on my face?
Well, I've seen it, but I'm sure to interpret it.
Right.
Yeah.
My question with this, I would love to see the decentralization of these things. Why can't an activity like this be held in, let's say, Lassa just past here Sunday afternoon, and then you go to the Sutter's Hardcourt, and I find too many of these so-called events. Why is that so? Is it
no? Well, it's easier to produce it in like a Prickly Bay. There's a stage. The logistics is easy. You know, a stage right there. You just come with a little system. The venue's like prepared. You know, it's less work. So that's one reason the logistics are a lot easier. But I too would love to see what you're talking about there. As a matter of fact, I have a friend who I plan to invite. He has an entertainment center in St. Andrews. I just wanted to just come and see whatever, just to see it, to kind of see if I could plant a seed in his mind that, hey, Sunday evening, instead of, always the norm, maybe we could,
And he has the resources.
And
what you're talking about. He has the resources. Yeah,
so I want to, I want them to come, just come and listen and hear and see if, let's try something different, let's try in St. Andrews, let's try something different,
Because I'm certain, right? I am very, very certain that if these sort of activities, which could be, it could be used as though you're scouting for talent, but you go out into the various parishes, some things will show up, and that in itself might just change the entire psyche of Grenada as it relates to this gift. It's a gift, to be able to do these things.
Yeah, well, it's a gift, but if you call it a gift, it can be learned.
Right.
It can be learned and it can be developed. Because I don't think I played the saxophone, and I think everything I can do now is because of hard work, because of practice and persistence. I really don't think that special angel came and touched me one night and then I woke up with a gift,
Right.
Everything, because I know my challenges and my struggles, and I know it's really because I put the work in. So I believe anybody who wants to put the work in, if you probably could have an aptitude for it, so if you have the aptitude for it and you're willing to put in the work, I think you could cover some ground.
I think I'm lazy because the passion I have for guitar, right? I remembered in Barbados, I would go to the boatyard every Tuesday night just to watch one guitarist play. I can't remember his name now. It was a Rasta guy he played with the band Coalition. Guitar is my passion. I bought a guitar and I have it home. Ever so often I would pick it up and just do something, but I'm not where I'm so it has to be your push as well. Tell us, don't let the cat out the bag, right? But tell us what can we expect from you come Sunday?
From me, well, I like jazz music in particular. So Matthias asked me, well, are there any songs you would like to do? And I gave him two songs. I mean, two songs that I listen to.
Don't tell them.
I'm not going to tell them. No,
when they come to hear, just don't stop. Right? Pause. I'm going to pause you for a minute because someone is trying to join in on the conversation. Good morning, caller.
Morning, sir.
Welcome.
Yeah, well, that idea of bringing up the talent is very good, but we need to, as you said, spread it out more broadly. In places like Tantine, Pasture, you go to La Sedies and you keep going around and around. Because to get the reason why he had so many culture and so much groups in Grenada, this was an instrument of Sir Eric and getting people to sponsor. But nowadays, the people that are trying the music, they have to find everything, but you need help from even the government and the private sector to get these things going. And playing a musical instrument is so nice and so good. A lot of people don't realize that sometimes you go to study in a big university or so, and you're living on the campus or whatever, or even in a workplace, a company someplace far away with a lot of men, and you could play an instrument. You're surprised to know the talent you'll bring to that camp and the fun sometime on a weekend because you can't go home and you're right there. You always form a nice group and do a lot of things, but we need real help from the private sector and the government. Another thing, the guy talking about steel band, I wonder if they do the research, if they do research and bands all over, let's say all over the world where steel band is. Do we know if they know where with the country with the biggest steel band right now? The country with the biggest steel band right now is China, 300 strong. They call it an orchestra. Not just a steel band, it's an orchestra, 300.
All right, thank you very much, caller. Well, Matthias, we got some support there.
Yeah. And he raised some good points. Some good points. He raised two good points. The points that you need the support from the private sector. The government has pledged to help in this drive that we're trying to do. But this has been really tough. You get a run around just trying to get sponsorship to support something like this. It's really challenging.
Which is, I often said this. I think it's selfishness because when these activities take place, all right, if it reaches to that big scale, the private sector that benefits.
No, but we don't see the long-term vision.
No.
We don't see what could spill out for down the road. And I don't think as a people we're very serious about investing and developing. We would jump onto something after it's already a success. But in terms of growing something so that we can have the benefits down the road, I don't think. So he raised a very good point because to go to La Sedies, so somebody has to come and give a good $15,000, $20,000 or whatever to make sure that it happens. You pay the artist, you can get a song system, you can get a stage, easily $15,000 to $20,000 just like that, So it's like, and then we have to go practice. Paul have to go practice. We have to have our lives to live. Then we still have to go chase, the sponsorship, chase whatever. So it'd be nice to get the administrative and support, from that end, so that we could focus on the arts, on the playing, So it's a good idea, and I'm in full support of going to La Sedies, going to St. Patrick's, whatever. But you need support. You need financial support to make that happen.
In wrapping up. Convince some people who were not convinced yet to be a part of Sunday Happiness why they should be there.
Good music, good vibes. And the other point that the caller raised is that music does something to you. Music is therapy. You raise it too. Music is therapy. So if you need therapy, that's why we call it Sunday Happiness. If you need happiness in your life, come down to Prickly Bay. All the happy people should come down, but the grumpy people are also invited to come down. We'll convert you.
A grumpy person could come there and find a happy person because happiness is contagious.
We could convert you to happyanity. So come. But you need to come down and you need to get your tickets. They need to get your tickets because it's going to be more at the door. And there are only two venues you can get tickets. Only at Prickly Bay and at Art and Soul in the Spice Land Mall. And there are a limited number of tickets. So the public you need happiness in your life. You want to support the performing arts. So those are two good reasons.
Okay.
the Therapy of Happiness and you want to support the performing arts, get a ticket for Sunday 6 p.m. and come down early because it's not all night kind of thing and then you come down 7 o'clock and realize half of the show gone and you come down early because we're going to start on time and you want to get everybody. You want to get Paranite, you want to get a whole 10, you want to get everyone,
Can it be dubbed a family affair?
Yeah, man. Yeah. As a matter of fact, kids like 12 and under, we charging, they just come in with the kids.
Oh, okay.
Just come in with the kids. So once you're 12 and under, just come through. It's a family event,
As part of, you're the main organizer for this event, right? I'm going to challenge you on the world platform. I'm challenging you. I'm challenging you to have this on your itinerary for next year. Carry an event like this to Las Ages.
Okay. Yeah.
We have time. Let's put some things together. And I would like to see these things. I'm starting with Las Ages. Okay, there's a big playing field. There's a hard court with a stage that might need some touching up and so forth. But I think I challenge you with this.
No, it sounds like a good idea. And on the world stage, they're listening to us too. So I'm certain after here, somebody's going to shout and say, Matthias, we are on board for next year. Sponsor,
that's the idea.
So if they want to be in touch with me, because I should also mention, this is not limited to a small select. I'm going to announce at the event that you're a youngster, you're playing, and you want to kind of take your playing to another level. You're playing already, you're a guitarist, you're a keyboard player, because I have some youngsters that we try to school through my project, the project called Project Music.
Right.
So you're interested in playing, you want to go to another level, you want to refine your skills, refine your band skills, you want to learn to improvise, shout me, give me a shout, message me on Facebook, that kind of thing. We'll draft you in the project. We'll draft you in the project and help you too, because that's part of what we're doing.
Also, it's a whole developmental package.
Very developmental package. So you come in and you hear a show, but you wouldn't realize that the guys that are playing, there were some youngsters who sometimes you see some just left GBSS, and I brought them in and we introduced them, because if you don't wet your feet into what we're doing, you kind of just stay into that field, just playing the reggae and just playing just this two genres. So we bring them in and we say, hey, okay, this is how you could do this, and they
So you're going to develop the craft. We have another caller. Let's take this caller. Good morning, caller.
A pleasant good morning. I am calling to express my disgust about our children being styled kids. They are children, they're not kids. The kid is the young goat and that sort of it. I don't know why we follow like to follow the American, and these are children, not kids. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, caller. We get your point. All right, different points of views. Okay, so wrapping up.
Yeah. I mean, just to say what he said, it's a wonderful event, especially for the young people, because that's one of the places they get inspired to learn music or to go further. You might be a singer in high school and you might see somebody singing and then you're like, oh, that could be me, So especially for the young people, just come out and be inspired, be happy, listen to good music and have a good time,
Okay. Well, folks, thank you very much. I just want to invite you. As you see, I have the flyer in my hand. It's Sunday Happiness. That's how it's dubbed. It's with Matthias and Project Music. And it's happening this Sunday at Prickly Bay. Tickets really, really conservative. $40. But more at the door, all right? So be there and have a happy Sunday evening.
Yeah. Have a Sunday evening full of happiness.
Yes. Well, Matthias, and Wayne, I want to wish you all the successes and the challenges on next year. Let's have a decentralized event.
A version in St. David.
Yeah, right? We're starting there. Yeah, and then we go, further north and then come back up. How does that sound?
It's sounding good.
Sounds like a plan.
It's sounding good.
Thank you very much. And folks, this is where we take a break. We'll be back after these messages. Don't you go anywhere.
Affordable quality products delivered to you via superb service. We are Superb Distributors, wholesalers and authorized agents for trusted products you know and love, like Rika Juices, Pure Heaven products, Bibin diapers, New Bright laundry detergent, Allegra pasta, and more.
Contact Superb Distributors at 435-2948 for superb quality and service.
Ultratech gasoline and diesel, available only at Rubis stations.
Looking for that injection of vibes and energy, of course? Well, I've got just that. Hi, my name is Gary Mr. Smooth, and I'm inviting you to join me on the Hot Morning Show on Hot 98.5, 98.7 FM. Weekdays, Monday to Friday, 6 to 10 in the morning. I've got a healthy dose of your favorite and most infectious hits sampled with information, news, laughter, and all the other ingredients that go into making the hottest morning show on the radio, The Morning Heat. And while you're at it, don't forget to hit us up on WhatsApp, 435-7517. We've got topics, we've got discussions, calls, voice notes, and so much more. But I can't tell you everything. You gotta tune in. The Hot Morning Show on Hot FM 98.5, 98.7 with yours truly, Gary Mr. Smooth. Kaboom!
You know, one day I woke up and they painted a set of pedestrian crossing all along the streets. Nobody told us how to use that thing properly.
I know how.
You're serious?
Every safe, good driver knows about these things. As a driver, you have to be very attentive. You know you're coming up close to a pedestrian cross, you start slowing down immediately, looking to see if there's any pedestrian on the side getting ready to cross. If there is, you stop on the line that is a certain distance before the crosswalk. Then you would see the pedestrian put their hands out, looking directly at you, indicating that they are going to cross. And only when you have come to a complete stop, that is when they will quickly and safely cross to the other side. And then you continue happily on your journey.
Stop, look, hand out, eye contact, wait for pedestrian to cross. Then you happily continue on your journey.
This message is brought to you by this group of insurance companies, the Traffic Advisory Body, and the Traffic Department.
Let's mingle and jingle.
You mean jingle and mingle, right?
Does it really matter? Mingle and Jingle, the mid-morning program that will drive the Christmas season. Weekdays from 10 a.m. to 12 noon on Classic Radio, GBN Television, and all GBN social media platforms.
It's where the deals of the season are, where the Christmas music is played, holiday traditions are relived, and where all the fun is.
Mingle and Jingle.
Or Jingle and Mingle. Mid-mornings from November 14th to December 23rd only on the GBN network.
Made possible by
Flow,
Wester Hall Rums,
Hard On Plus,
Judy Free Caribbean Holdings,
Ace Hardware,
Gittins Healthcare, and
Grenville Credit Union.
welcome back, viewers and listeners. How are we doing? I want to say good morning to all of Facebook listeners and viewers. All right, thank you very much. Impose time limits on the callers. All right, thank you very much. Let's get to the topical issue. Everybody seems to be wanting to talk about that conversation yesterday that came up after the town hall meeting the previous night. The explanation that was given by Senator Nolan Cox as it relates to the disbursement of the funds that was sent in. I hope my TV guy can pull that clip for us. Are we satisfied? Are you happy with the explanation given? I'd love to hear from you. 435-2041. Quite a number of buzzing took place with this. All right. I would love to hear from you. What are your take on this?
Opposition Senator Nolan Cox, while appearing on GBN's To The Point program on Tuesday, is refuting any links to the purported payment of funds to the New National Party's South St. George office.
No, but I'm saying that they have not implicated my campaign in any way or myself. I think they said it's counting the name of the South St. George constituency office. So that is something that's a separate matter. Our campaign is not have any knowledge of such account or any dealings with such account. So
this issue is one of three major allegations made by Prime Minister Deacon Mitchell, who hinted to mismanagement of funds by the former NNP administration. During the government of Grenada's town hall meeting on Monday evening, the Prime Minister stated that a gentleman of Polish origin apparently applied to be made an ambassador at large to Grenada.
That gentleman was told, and it appears that the then cabinet, agreed to appoint the gentleman as ambassador at large. He was told that in order to do so, he needed to pay US $290,000 to the state of Grenada. $150,000 was paid to the state of Grenada, and there's a treasury receipt for it. Another $140,000 was paid to the New National Party South St. George office.
Prime Minister Mitchell noted that just before the election in June 2022, $140,000 was paid to the New National Party's South St. George office.
We have the records. So since the cabinet conclusion said it was $290,000 to the state of Grenada, last time I checked, the Constitution does not establish the New National Party South St. George office as part of the state of Grenada. So my free advice now is that the New National Party South St. George office, or the New National Party for that matter, should kindly hand over to the state of Grenada the $140,000 that magically found its way into your bank account.
However, Senator Cox, who was the NNP candidate for St. George South, insists that he as well as his staff are not aware of such a transaction, citing that funding for his campaign was totally local.
I said just last night I heard this, and I just quickly called a few persons and said, did you receive any such donation from overseas in such an amount? And nobody. That is the situation at hand.
The Prime Minister told the gathering at the town hall meeting that the gentleman has requested for the return of his money.
The state of Grenada has no intention of paying back any money to anybody.
I am Gerard Joseph for GBN News.
Thank you very much, Gerard. All right, folks, so here's the conversation. You heard the explanation given by Senator Nolan Cox yesterday. What are your thoughts on this? We have a caller. Good morning.
Yes, good morning. Well, I'm not surprised. I'm not worried about the statement from Nolan Cox. And, let me say congratulations to the Honorable Deacon Mitchell, and his team, and I wish and hope that better will always be coming. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, caller. Thank you. 435-2041. It's 8 minutes on to, well, just turned 7 minutes on to 8 o'clock. The explanation, are you satisfied? Okay, let's hear. Good morning. Welcome to the program.
Yeah, good morning, Innocent. Well, I am still listening because I find that is a hard one. But what my concern is, I didn't know that prior to last night when I heard the news, but I observed the representative yesterday on your program, on the To The Point program. And what baffles me is the happiness and the joy that this man seems to be in. I can't believe a serious, charge has been labeled. Whether it's true or not, the thing is, I find there is some seriousness with that, but he's so happy. So I listen before I say anything further. Have a good day.
Okay, thank you very much, caller. Thank you. Thank you. It's 6 minutes on to 8 o'clock, and this is very topical this morning. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Innocent. I think it might be early to make comment, but it's very interesting, and I think it's also encouraging that this thing is certainly emerged of some of the misdoing of the former regime. I think also the government could also be a little more regular in bringing out some of those things, because people have been a little wary that, whether things are happening, and it's good to see that actually things are happening in terms of unearthing all the wrongdoing. Maybe in the end what we can have is an inquiry, so maybe the senator maybe not smiling at that time, as the previous caller said, like the kind of joyful, because these people don't take anything serious. And this is not, the senator, I've heard him being economical with the truth in the past, and I've been calling him on that in relation to the Molyneux project. Anyway, thanks to the government for bringing out that thing.
Okay, thank you, caller. All right, taking our comments from our Facebook page. Love Child Kim says, Cox need to come clean fast before he gets himself in deeper problems. And another, Ernesto Jose says, Cox lied. Downright lied. Cox wasn't believable, because how monies could be paid in your constituency account and you're not aware of such. A lie should be ashamed, and the PM should pass it on to the relative authority to press charges. Paul Street says, if he honestly don't know about it, that makes him a rubber stamp representative. If he knows, then come to the media and lie. We cannot trust him. Ah, boy. Folks, it's 4 minutes on to 8 o'clock, reminding you that at 8 we join the BBC for a bulletin of news. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, welcome.
Welcome. Yes, sir. You know what I find about this funny? First, the Prime Minister, if he have this information and the Minister want back his money, I think the Minister, if he's not afraid, he shouldn't be afraid. He should be able to come to the public on the air and have his statement. He document, as the Prime Minister say he have document. He shouldn't go through the Prime Minister. He should come straight and say, and let me see who is the person, and say what kind of money they give to the government, the past government.
Okay.
I feel so. And I find Mr. Cox, he must smile because he's not afraid of something. He know he didn't do anything wrong. He's not afraid to say, well, he didn't do anything wrong and he don't know anything about the money. So if he smiles, since I know Mr. Cox, he's a smiling man. And if he know that he's not afraid of something, he would not come out right away. He would not come out right away and say that he don't know anything about it. He would not come out right away. As he make the statement, he come out with a statement saying he don't know about it, and he's not afraid, so he could smile and say that he's not afraid. because he don't know anything about the money. But the Prime Minister should come with a mister and be a man and state the man name, who the government, who he paid the money to.
Okay. All right, thank you, caller. All right, Love Child Kim says he's smiling because he is guilty, using his smile to make himself look innocent. Like me now. All right, Heaven Hill says, NMP South St. George, please return the money to the Polish man. How could Cox say he and his staff knew nothing about it? Grenadians lie as a matter of lifestyle. It's a norm for them. Wow. All right, folks, unfortunately, we've exhausted the time to engage this topic. I know this topic isn't going anywhere anytime soon, so maybe we'll do some more research. Maybe during the course of the day, some more information will come out, and we can have a more in-depth discussion about it. All right, one caller, Annette Ragbasing, is saying, call an inquiry for the real hard evidence. Cox political career done just like that. All right, Nisto said, I believe the PM 100%. Well, like I said, it's a brewing story, so I hope that more information will come out. All right, why no one is speaking of the former rep who may have created the account? All right, that is someone from the WhatsApp platform is saying that. Yeah. Folks, this is where I've got to pull it. Like I said, if the possibility and the need arises, we will re-engage this topic at a later date, maybe tomorrow, who knows. Until then, that's it for this segment of the program.